you ready? I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
I'm Shay, and this is Gizmo.
Gizmo?
A little Gizmo.
Gizmo, not Kismo.
We're from Adelaide, Australia.
All the way from Australia. Shout out to
All the way down in Adelaide.
Shout out to the big homie Dan who suffered with us for about an hour and a half trying to get this whole soiree situated.
Fantastic
Yeah,
job.
yes, shout out to him. He taught me a new phrase.
Don't repeat. Which she will not repeat on this
What was
song.
that phrase again?
No. The phrase was no.
No, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Dear audience, if you would like to do a review with Vin and Sori, hit us up at vinandsori@gmail.com.
Not Middle America.
Don't hit us up in Middle America. You'll want to strangle us if you do it from there. Hit us up at vinandsori@gmail.com and we will get you the deets on how to do that. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori.
That's us.
Speaking of commentary, what song did you select, Shane, for us to review?
I selected TalkTalk by Perfect Circle.
Okay.
I think you guys like it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So this will be our...
commentary there, Vin.
Say again?
Some political commentary for you, Vin.
Okay. Good. Good. So if I say something political, I don't want to hear y'all in the count sing politics don't belong in meta. Politics don't belong actually. Remember actually?
Yes. How could I forget?
I might get an actually
You
shirt.
have to put a warning at the front.
Yeah, we'll have to have a trigger warning at the front.
Trigger
Okay.
warning will be there.
All right, so this is Talk Talk from A Perfect Circle from the album Eat the Elephant.
Like cake and crisis, we're bleeding out while you deliberate. Bodies accumulate. Talk like Jesus. Try walking like Jesus. Sit and talk like Jesus. Talk like Jesus. Talk, 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 talk. Just a fun better my
I liked it. I liked it. I liked it sonically. I liked vocally how he sounded, and I thought, I don't know why you said that's not nice, Maynard. I thought everything was well put.
I was listening to a talk about it was this Christian guy, but he was an edgy Christian guy, and he said there are gonna be 5,000 kids that die of fucking poverty today. And he said, now most of you are focused on the fact that I said fuck.
Yep.
And not on the fact that I said there's 5,000 kids that are going
It's
to
true.
die
A
of
lot
hunger.
of people would be focused on
Exactly,
that. Yep.
yes.
And he's like, hey, dummy,
Yep.
the fact that half of us are
Yep.
overweight while 5,000 kids die of hunger is the fucking abomination.
Yep.
Or that is the impure language.
Yep.
And so, like, you know, when he says, get the fuck out of my way, it triggered that in my head, because I'm like, I know immediately what's going to happen. Bunch of Christians are going to miss the force of this because he said the fuck word. Which,
I mean,
it's mind-boggling. And look, you know.
oh, so you weren't being serious when you said that's not nice.
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I was just saying, like, I know exactly what's going to happen
Yeah.
with a lot of Christians. Because, look, with modern evangelicalism, we don't do a very good job of taking criticism from unbelievers very well.
Mm-hmm.
And we always try to find some way to invalidate what they're saying, even if what they're saying is right down the middle true.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm saying, I'm like, oh, they're going to jump on that F word and completely miss out on the very relevant shit
Absolutely.
that he's saying right here.
Absolutely.
So before I go off, that was a mini rant to prepare you, dear listener.
That's it. That's the first part of the rant.
Right. That was the rant warm up. So I don't.
That's the warm up. You're ready to go.
I don't pull any muscles. So tell me your thoughts on this song, Shane.
Yeah, I do identify. I think it came out when there's a lot of mass shootings, school shootings,
Yeah.
and there's a lot on the TV about just thoughts and prayers rather than doing a lot of more action,
Right.
you know, to help out. And of course, you guys do that, but I'm sure in some sectors of Christianity, they don't do that. It's more about just talking about. We just put in our thoughts and prayers rather than, you know, put in some political placements that'll help the situation.
Yep.
You know, something physical, something concrete to actually help.
Now you're in Australia, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think you guys had like one mass shooting incident like 20 years ago, and your government was like, okay, give us all your shit, right? Like, yeah. So
we still have guns here, unfortunately, illegal guns. But of course, taking it from the regular market, it does reduce the risk of anybody being shot as well. So it actually does work when the government does step in and try to, you know, take firearms, especially automatics, semi-automatics and all that kind of stuff.
So talk to me a little bit about being a non-American and watching this shit. Once a month we have some fucking horrible carnage. What is it? Because I think it's important actually that this song is here and you're here because you're not from our country. And I think it would be really eye-opening for people outside, because I think Americans are desensitized to it. Or we think, well, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So what goes through your mind as somebody from Australia when you're seeing constant gun violence in America? What are your thought processes?
Well, it's the roll of the eyes again, because we've seen it before, because we only get the mass shootings that we see from your country. And we see how the politicians, the NRA, just say it's not our problem. You know, like guns don't kill people, people do. So it's always swept aside, you know, the availability of guns. There is a correlation between the availability of guns and the actual mass shootings.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, and it's obvious. It's like, you know, it's like with heroin. We've got a massive heroin problem. And nobody is saying, we should legalize heroin and
Yeah.
we realize even if you make heroin illegal that people are going to find it on the black market, but it is, we all recognize we want to make it hard as possible for you to procure heroin,
Right.
and we want to make it very hard for you to sell heroin. Well, it's the same logic with a gun ban.
Yeah.
A gun ban doesn't mean that everybody's going to play ball, but it does mean that it will be harder to buy those guns and sell those guns.
Absolutely.
So when people say, oh, you can't ban guns because people aren't going to follow that law, we know that. Nobody who ever drafts a law believes that everybody's going to follow that law.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think it's important for people who are not Americans to realize that this is not normal. Like, people from other countries are looking at us like, what the hell is going on over
Yeah.
here?
No, we do realise that it's not just, it's only representatives that unfortunately make all Americans look bad in that way. You know, like, it's not your problem, it's actually the government's fault for not intervening. But I guess the NRA controls a lot, doesn't it? The NRA controls a lot of the political parties.
Like, I gotta tell you, because you have too much, you're overestimate. Now look, I love this country. Everybody knows I love this country. I paid heavy prices due to my love of this country. However, you are overestimating much of the American populace, my guy. So, a couple days ago, Beto O'Rourke, I think I showed you the clip where he said, hell yes, we're taking your AK-47 and your AR-15. So he came out and said, yes, we're going to do that. A Christian, a Christian on Facebook shot a video of him with his AR-15 in his
passenger seat of his car,
and he was like, come get it. So this is the Christian saying this shit.
Yeah.
So it's not just the NRA, mate. It's just there's a right-wing faction in America that is in bed with the church, the evangelical, which we come from that tradition, and it's insane.
I'm telling you, most Christians would be totally against having their weapons taken away. Like, the majority of the ones that I know, and I don't know if it's where I am, location-wise, if that's the case, or if it's like this in lots of other states, but, all the Christians that I know that have their guns, they would not put them down.
And Maine is a generally blue state, meaning it's generally Democratic, generally left-wing, but that has not affected the mindset of many Christians in this area. And look, I'm not here to diss the church, because I've said over and over again, I'm riding with the church, but it is not just the NRA, and it's not just the politicians.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the politicians actually are beholden to the will of the people. And so if you're a Republican, you can't say anything about sensible gun control, because then your constituents will make you pay. So so even
Obama done that, didn't he? Obama, Beach.
Say again?
Didn't the NRA try to berate Obama for making a speech? He made a very impassioned speech about how many school shootings are occurring.
Oh yeah.
And like he said, it's time to do something. We can't. It's not negotiable anymore. We have to do something.
Yeah, and they went out. They absolutely. There was one time. He was talking about Chicago, and he got emotional.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the only appropriate response when you wake up and hear 5-6 of your countrymen have just been gunned down for no fucking reason. You're supposed to get emotional if you still have a show. These right-wingers and Christians were mocking him for it.
Oh, I know.
So it's
being a human being.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, when a school shooting happens or some type of shooting happens, I go to Sori, obviously, for comfort. I go to God for comfort. And then I go to my atheist friends for comfort, because I know that they're going to say, yeah, this is terrible, da-da-da-da. If I go to my Christian friends, many of the time, they'll be like, well, hey, we need to have our guns, and da-da-da-da-da. And they have it's a very strange world we're living in right now.
Isn't there theory that it's based on we need more guns then?
Right.
Yes.
So-
Yep. That's what a lot
Correct.
of people say.
Increases the problem.
350
Yep.
million people in America, estimated 400 million guns. So we got 50 million more guns than we do human beings. And keep in mind, we've got a bunch of babies,
Yep.
right? So
Absolutely,
so we probably have enough guns in America where an able-bodied adult could have 2. And
Yeah, it's amazing.
and when these people hear about a shooting, they want us to be able to have 3. Like
Yeah.
logic is like
They got the opposite way.
Yeah.
They weren't armed enough.
Yeah.
To prevent that. Just have one more gun there.
Yeah.
Would work.
yeah. Which, of course, the other thing that's really interesting, it was the Parkland shooting massacre,
Yeah.
where there was a security guard that actually had a gun. He had a pistol, and he stayed outside.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, that guy's a coward, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, the vast majority of these people that are judging this guy have never experienced gunfire in their life and have never
Sure.
experienced, they have no training whatsoever. A hallway basically is a fatal funnel.
Right.
Now, generally
Yeah.
speaking, a fatal funnel is when you're breaching and you're in a stack and you go through the door.
Yeah.
The door is a fatal funnel because it's where you can concentrate your fire. But a hallway effectively functions like a fatal
Absolutely.
funnel. So my point is, that guy goes in there with a pistol, and the other guy's got a rifle. The other guy has a decided advantage. And the minute that the guy sees that you have a weapon, you become the target.
Yeah.
So he would have got blown away in seconds.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because the guy had a high-powered rifle versus his little pea shooter 9mm.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Nothing. There's no contest.
Correct. So people were like, I can't believe that. He had training. Why didn't he go in? And I'm like, dummy, he didn't go in because he was trained. And he knew.
That's right.
He didn't have a flak jet. He knew he was dead when he went in there.
Do you think it's to do with the almost like a hero complex? People really believe
Oh,
they
yeah.
can take the situation.
One-
In real life, it doesn't happen that way.
100%.
And what
Whatever.
what was he? He was like the security guard for the school.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too,
Yeah.
like if you, I don't know what the situation was there, but sometimes you see like security guards and you're like, you know what I mean? Like they're there, but they probably don't have enough training or they haven't been in a situation, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but look, okay, think about this. You know, you get the SWAT team, usually called the SWAT team, you know,
Yeah.
the Special Weapons and Tactics. These are guys that are they're basically a paramilitary arm, and that's a different story. But even those guys, they're outfitted with long guns and everything in flak jackets. They never go in by themselves.
right.
Absolutely.
So you got the most highly trained people in our country who are not in the military, who in an active shooter situation go in there with shields and all that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what is one security guard with a little pistol who's never done CQB or any close quarter combat training, whatever?
Yeah.
What the hell do you expect from the guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous, but I think it's your point. You know, people watch too many movies, and they think, "Oh, this guy's got a gun, and if I had a gun, I'd go in there and take him out." That's what I see in the movies, and nobody ever thinks to themselves, "Well, what if you shoot the wrong person?"
right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or what if you shoot another hero with it?
Like that.
Go ahead. I'm
They
sorry.
walk into a situation where if you take that, everyone's got everyone's arms, so they protect themselves. What if the SWAT team walk in and there's two people pointing a gun? Who's the wrong person?
How do you tell the
Because
difference?
they haven't got time. You can't determine from a very quick analysis of the situation what's going on.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
And what people don't realize is that when a SWAT team goes in, they tell everybody to get on the floor, and they're trained to treat everyone like a suspect, even if you're not
Absolutely.
armed. So if they hear pop, 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 pop in the science room, but they're going to clear the civics room, they're going to treat everybody like a suspect.
Wow.
Everybody gets treated like a suspect until they're 100% sure that you neutralize the threat. And these are people without guns. So what do you think the SWAT team is going to do? They roll up in there and you're one of the good guys with a gun. You're also going to be one of the dead guys with a gun. Because there's no way to differentiate. I mean, you know, they're taught discriminatory fire, shoot the shooters, don't shoot the no-shoots.
Yep.
But that's what you're told over and over again. Shoot the shooters, don't shoot the no-shoots. Well,
And they're pumped up as well.
Of course.
Adrenaline.
Of course.
Really
Yeah.
careful.
Of course. So if you walk in there and you see a guy with a gun, you go, "Oh, he's
Yeah,
bad.
sure.
He's a shooter."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you're asking these. So it's just ridiculous. These silly. Oh, the good guy with a gun. And then the other question is, okay, so let's say let's say that I'm in the school and you're outside the school, right? And I decide to be a good guy with a gun, and you decide to be a good guy with a gun. So you roll up in the school and you see Vincent with his gun.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Same shit.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah,
it's just
there's so many complications.
It's
to
like
it.
Absolutely,
like
You
you
almost make the situation worse than what it actually is. you know?
Exactly. And that's why the cops will tell you, like, lock yourself in the closet and stay where you are. They don't want you interfering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and look, I get it. It's a little bit different if the mom is by herself and some scumbag breaks in and
absolutely, yeah.
I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not black and white kind of thing. There's definitely grey areas where, yeah.
Right. But what he's calling out, though, is you're saying all this thoughts and prayer stuff. How many times was Jesus walking around with a sword killing people? What did Jesus instruct?
Absolutely.
Yep.
He instructed his disciples to put down the sword.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Yes.
on a societal level this is a simple subject, but I do
Absolutely
think
not.
for the church this is a simple subject. We should be the voices saying, whoa, we need to disarm. This is terrible. We need to take away the guns.
Yep.
And let the other side say, well, there need to be some exceptions. I'm fine with that type of debate, but the church is not occupying that place in our current
No.
cultural conversation.
No.
The church is saying, more guns, more swords, more death.
Yeah.
And
What's-
it's insane.
Shane, what is your stance? Are you a religious person? Are you an atheist? What?
I'm not actually. I'm atheist agnostic. But I can see your point of view. Like, I think some of the teaching of Jesus are fantastic. So I'm quite happy with people. If it's a good belief system and you're not using it to hurt other people, that's fine.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's like this mindset that Christians have with guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
yeah, I don't
it's
understand.
mind-boggling.
Right.
It's like
And so it's weird to us because we have the direct teachings of Jesus that Christians are supposed to follow. That's part of our belief system.
Yeah.
And you'll
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
Christians arguing that we need to keep our weapons and stuff fighting. You are saying that you're an atheist agnostic.
Right.
And you're saying this is crazy. These weapons.
Common
This
sense.
is common sense. Yeah. And so it's just
It is
weird
common
that
sense. Yeah.
it's like,
well,
the basis of our belief
I
system
know.
is Jesus, and he's
Sure,
saying not to
yeah,
do it.
absolutely.
But here people are saying, no, forget
and
that.
then you have Jesus who said nary a word explicitly about homosexuality. But the church
I
goes
know.
blah 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 blah.
Ah!
But then when he specifically talks about turn the other cheek,
Yep.
you live by if you pick up the sword, you'll die by the sword.
Yep.
That's repeated twice in the New Testament. He constantly, and then he exemplified being attacked physically and not returning fire.
Yep.
That gets ignored.
Yep.
But the gay stuff. Oh, look, the gays, the damn gays. I saw one thing. I couldn't even read
That's
the
right.
article.
Now the more serious things, aside from guns.
Right.
The gay stuff,
Right.
It's a real diversion, isn't it, from what's going on?
Yeah. Aside from your 5-year-old getting blown to smithereens by
Yes.
a 50 cal round, let's talk about that. It's like, come on, man. So he's saying like we're bleeding out while you're waiting on miracles, and the crazy
Yeah,
thing,
exactly. Yeah.
the crazy thing is that Jesus, from a Christian perspective, already gave us the solution, and it's even worse than what Maynard is saying, because it's basically you're doing all this religious thoughts and prayers bullshit, but you're not lifting a finger to solve the problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
to me, it's worse than that, because we are, as the church, actively
Yes.
disobeying Jesus,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
what's
right, you're
perpetuating
increasing
the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
Well, that's why he said in the song, how about you walk like Jesus? Because if you walk
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
then, I don't know, 60 million of the gun nuts in America would put down their guns.
Yeah.
It's not very difficult to understand. So I thought it was a very insightful line. And then, of course, he talks about faith without works
You know what's
dead.
crazy too is that if you look at both things, and let's say that homosexuality and the gun stuff, the violence is, let's say they were both gray areas in the Bible. If you had to say, okay, which one should Christians just go crazy after?
Right.
It should be the gun violence because
Right. Sure.
there's so many people dying as a result of it.
Correct.
So it's like, why pick the gay thing to go after?
Yes.
Why are we doing that instead of going after something that has so much more fatalities to it? It's just,
Absolutely.
it's a little like the flags come up and you're like, well, wow, what's going on here?
Even
I
with
can see it must be very frustrating for you guys.
Yeah.
Live in that society where you just can't, like you got that big backlash against it. There's no reason, there's no rational thinking. You're thinking, what's going on?
I had a
I'll
guy
tell you
tell me
what.
I wasn't a Christian.
It's crazy,
Oh,
Shane.
wow.
One thing that like drives me nuts is like when I'm talking to people that are close to me that are also
Yeah.
Christians and they're arguing for having the weapons or you know the locking the kids up in cages on the border, and I'm like, are you guys insane? Like, yeah, I can't. It's like mind blowing. And then it's like, because obviously, like, you being raised in a Christian home and mostly surrounded by Christians, you get this idea that people that are atheists are like just like crazy, like they're completely crazy people. And then now, like, I've had so many interactions with people of different belief systems, and I'm like, there's actually a lot of rational thinking going on, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just wild, and it's so frustrating to have them in one breath saying like, we're firm believers in the Bible, but then deny it by some of the very, very major things in our culture. It's amazing.
I don't know how they do it in their heads.
I don't know.
It in their heads.
I don't know.
It's a real cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Well, there's a real confusion, I think, with modern American evangelicals. They really believe that the Constitution is almost an inspired document. And, of course, you look at Jesus, and it's like, if anyone wants to be my disciple, he must deny himself.
Yep.
Deny yourself.
Yep.
Take up your cross and follow me. In the Roman world, if you were taking up a cross, then that means that you were going to die. And you were going to die a pretty gruesome, terrible death.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, American Christians, you know it, nobody wants to die like Jesus in America. We don't want to do it. That's for the people. I've had people say, yeah, the nonviolent stuff, well, that's for the missionaries overseas. It's not for you in your house. I'm like, isn't that convenient? So Jesus gets brutalized, doesn't fight back.
Yeah.
The apostles get brutalized, don't fight back. The one time an apostle... Right. Right. The one time an apostle fought back, Jesus rebuked him and said, put your sword away. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. The early church got massacred, and overseas missionaries get massacred.
Yeah.
But you, dear American Christian,
You won't even sit on the wooden pews. You gotta fight for the cushy chair.
You are the exemption, dear listener. That shit is for the other people. Not for people like me and you. It's insane. I'm sorry. It's absolutely crazy. And
we went to there's this organization called Voice of the Martyrs, and it's about Christians overseas or in different areas that have been martyred or have suffered intense persecution. And so they had like a conference, and they actually had people that were under intense persecution in other countries, and then they were like kind of like saved out of that situation and brought over to America to kind of like protect them. And we met this one girl, like she was so small, like she was she Asian? Yeah, and she was
Chinese.
Yeah, her name was Lou, and she was so sweet, and she had undergone so much persecution in this prison that she was in, and like sitting beside her and meeting her and like seeing like who she was and how like it changed her as a person, but not for like the bad. Like she was a much deeper, I don't know, she was just unbelievable person. And it's like that's what our religion is supposed to bring. It's supposed to bring people that are not fearless, but essentially very brave and able to go forward because of the message and teachings of Jesus. But instead, like it's all warped, and we're like fighting for guns and like he said, we're not actually doing what we need to be doing. It's just a bunch of talking.
Absolutely.
Faith without works is dead, which is a very, very famous passage in the Bible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's Maynard is not calling us to do anything. He's not calling us to save the world. He's just saying,
No.
hey, things would be really awesome if you actually tried to walk like Jesus did.
Yeah. Put some action behind your words.
Try braving the rain.
So what is this like for you, Shane, when you're looking at this? Because being somebody that doesn't believe in Jesus, do you believe in Jesus or do you not?
No, I don't. But I can see that just as a human being,
Yeah.
I care about other people. It's just the way I am.
Yeah.
What have we put up to? It's given me meaning. So, and you can see, and it's senseless. Like as a species, we've got to protect one another.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, that's come on, and this is just the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
This go for it.
So is it weird to see Maynard singing about something that in your mind doesn't even exist?
No, I think he's more saying about the teaching. So, to me, that I just like the message. Same as in Buddhism, there's nice messages.
Yep.
So that's
Oh,
fine
I
with
see.
me.
I see what you're saying.
So
Yep.
I can get behind that. I think that's, trying not to hurt other people. That's fantastic. Not as a premise just for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to, do not harm others. It's a very simple message as a human being.
Yeah.
And actually,
But when he says
Yeah.
try braving the rain,
Yeah.
that's the key. Because to live in a gun-saturated environment and refuse to take part in it takes a certain degree of bravery.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Every time I talk about it, Christian always goes, well, what are you going to do? Somebody breaks into your house. It's always this fear.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, it's like, well, we're going to find out if God's real or not.
Yeah.
So if somebody breaks into my house and I have the opportunity to kill them and I don't, and something goes down,
Yeah.
I want to live and die in such a way that the only explanation could be Jesus.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
if the guy goes into my house and I start preaching to him or whatever, and the guy goes, "Oh my gosh, I should have done that," he drops his gun and he says, "Please forgive me," then when the cops show up, I'm going to say, "Hey, God showed up in my living room," right? But if we go in there and we all die, then we would be 7 martyrs in a pool of what, 600 million martyrs from the beginning of church history. You're not a hero for that. That's how you're supposed to live and die. My point is, either way, in those situations, I want Jesus to be the only explanation. Whether a miracle happened or we all died, either way, Jesus gets centered, because that's what you're supposed to do as a Christian.
Right.
But
right.
a lot of Christians don't want to deal with that ramifications because it's scary as hell. It's very, very scary.
He puts it out there too in those lyrics. This is probably the most direct song I've actually seen write. Normally he's very metaphorical.
Yeah.
This is very direct. He's really just being completely direct about it. Obviously, because he feels like, I need just to cut through the metaphors. This is what's happening. This is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
Yep.
That's just my interpretation anyway.
Yep.
No, I agree, and I don't know who said it. It's not my line, but basically, when the pastors won't speak, then God uses the artists.
Yeah.
And it should be the pastors who are saying this to their churches.
Well, it should be the pastors doing it. I mean, that guy was a pastor that took the picture with
that guy was the pastor. Yeah, you're not gonna
that had the weapon right in his vehicle.
There's even a Pureflix movie. Pureflix is like Christian Netflix, where the whole thing is about guns and thank God for the Second Amendment. And,
really?
I'll try to show it to you. If I can find it, we'll put the trailer in here.
It's absurd, isn't it? It's really absurd.
It's insane. They made a movie out of it. And you can see the guy like sighting his weapon and cow and run, and I'm gonna defend myself and I don't want to have to kill you, and it's like, you don't have to kill anybody, fam.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I think that whole mentality. Look, America was born in bloodshed, right? Like we went to war against the British.
Yeah.
It was our guns, and even from a biblical perspective, there's no way to justify the Revolutionary War. So we as Americans we've been discarding what Jesus has to say forever.
Yeah.
And so we're going to reap the whirlwind, because Jesus said, you live by the sword,
you're going to die by it. Yep.
And the people that Jesus said that to 40 years later, they refused to put down their sword, and the Romans came in and completely leveled their city.
Yep.
So, you know,
Yeah.
our obsessions with and by the way, Christian, the people in Jesus' time had way more of a justifiable reason for why they wanted weapons.
Right.
Because they were
Right.
under the oppression of the Roman government,
Yeah.
and no, it wasn't taxation, it was crucifixion.
Right.
They'd randomly snatch you in the street and crucify you if they felt like it. They weren't worried about taxes. The Bible just says, man, pay your taxes.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. I could go on and on, but this was a really, really good song. I enjoyed it. The only thing that pissed me off about the song,
Too short.
it was way too short.
I knew it.
Way too short.
I did see your face big when you went, it's over.
Yeah. I wish this was one of these like 8-10 minute songs, but that's more of Tool. That's not Perfect Circle.
That's coming up on the new album. Most of the songs go for 13 minutes, so it's a long one.
Yeah, and by the way, dear listener, we are doing a live listen session of Tool eventually.
Yes.
That's coming. Okay, what do you give the song?
I think it's super important, and I love the sound of it. I think I'm going to go with a 9.8. No, 9.9 for me. 9.9.
What about you, mate?
9.5. I liked it. I've always liked it. Yeah, I've liked it for a while.
This is a 9.3 for me. Two things. I wish you would have put it out a little bit longer, and I wish you would have really dug into more lyrics. But I also think that there's probably a strategy in that, because the shorter you say, the less words you use, the easier it is to memorize.
Yep. Exactly.
And so
that seems like that's the intention of the song. The very fact is so compact. It's just getting a message out there. This is what it is. No
Yep.
metaphors. This is what's happening.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's
For
very
Maynard,
true.
it's very straightforward.
Yeah. So I'll bump it up to a 9.5 because I understand the genius of making. But I would have liked more music though, because this song was really
We'll
good.
have to get the extended remix. We'll have to organize.
See, I don't dock something for being too short, because you could just hit that repeat button and go again.
Yeah, I just would have liked to have him explore sonically the different places it could have gone. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's a damn good song, very timely, very important. I love when artists. I should be able to look at contemporary music of a given age and know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we listen to that 60s music sometimes, it's all Vietnam everywhere. Like some allusion to Vietnam or something. And some of that can get oversaturated, but I should be able to look at the artist in a given generation and know what was going on in that generation based on what they're singing about.
Yep.
And this is one of those you put in the vault and say, this, however we figure out this gun thing, because I'm an optimist and I believe we're going to figure it out.
Yeah. You're not convincing me there, Vic.
But
It might happen though. You never know.
yeah. Inshallah, maybe 20 years from
Isn't
now.
the problem though, the revolt, because there are such crazy people with guns, that the Alex Jones, all the conspiracy nuts, when they go up, that's the thing is, you try to take my gun, we'll revolt against the government. That's not that real.
Oh yeah, that's
really insane kind of thinking.
well. That's what the pastor was saying. He was saying,
Yeah,
come,
you're saying,
come get it.
Yeah.
And the implication is, I'll fucking kill you.
Yep.
In Jesus' name.
Absolutely.
It's just
In,
crazy.
in Jesus' name.
Crazy.
Cacao.
It's been crazy.
We're doomed. We're doomed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. And you know, I've had people tell me like, you're working for the New World Order.
Oh God.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah.
You want these people to get our guns. Hello! The U.S. government has ICBMs, drones, F-15s, Black Hawk helicopters, Hueys.
You're not gonna stand a chance.
The Naval Special Warfare Development Group, the Combat Applications Group, you would not last, you and your airsoft buddies would not last 2 minutes in a confrontation with the U.S. military.
Yeah.
That day is over.
It's that hero complex again, like believing they can take on 50 armed soldiers.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
my
team
my
of
thing
Navy
is,
SEALs in there, you're done.
if
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
like, I understand other people saying, "Oh no, what we want to keep our weapons." That makes sense to me. Christians saying it confuses me also
Strange.
because Christians, the basis of our religion is based on supernatural behavior. You have a virgin birth, you have God creating the world by just the words of his mouth. And so like the Bible and Christianity is full of supernatural things. So it's like, if you really believe the religion that you claim to follow, then why are you not saying, hey,
True.
if somebody rolls up in my house with a weapon, I'm gonna share the message that I know and I believe, because something supernatural could happen.
Right.
And if I die, something else supernatural might happen. So I don't really know. Like but to me, that makes it look like you don't really believe this religion that you say that you follow,
Yeah.
because you're trying to pull out a weapon and you're acting very, very non-supernatural by that behavior. That's a very
Yeah.
natural reaction to fear. Everybody has a flight or fight mentality. So
Absolutely, yeah.
so when you're wanting to fight, that's not surprising. That's not supernatural. So the person that says, I'm not going to go with my weapons and I'm going with the message that I believe in, and even if I die in that moment, I'm still going to tell this person this message. And there was a story, around, I don't know if it was this area, but some guy rolled up in this elderly lady's car and he was trying to take her purse and stuff.
She wouldn't give it to him.
And she wouldn't give it to him, and she shared her belief with him, and then he apologized, and the whole thing diffused, So you just don't know. I'm just saying, if you believe what you say you believe, then a crazy response should be normal. You should try to, if you really believe you can fly, you should jump off the side of that cliff,
No, it's well said.
there is a lot of things in life we can't control. There is a lot of mentally ill people, unfortunately, that you never know, and they will not. You can't reason with it. If they're psychotic, what can you do?
But that's what I'm saying, Shane. If somebody is psychotic, then if our belief system is true,
right? If
then
there's a
then God can intervene and clear up that guy's mind.
Sure.
Right.
So,
Right.
but if it's simply a natural thing, then
you can't- God can't change the guy's mind if you put it on your wall. If you put a bullet
Right.
through the guy's head and now his mind is on
That's
your
it.
back wall,
That's it.
God can't change his mind, you
It
weirdo.
might be a bit late for that, Nick.
Right. So, look, if you're a Christian, you're probably mad at us, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here. Look, I'm not here to spit on the church. I have always
No.
said
we love the church.
every single time that we're going to roll with the church and this is who we are, and I always say we. All I'm saying is, before you get mad at us, just think it through.
Yeah.
If you really believe it might be your propensity for gun loving has to do with fear and a lack of faith. Might be. Just look into it.
Yeah.
Great song. Thank you so much for showing us, my guy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Badass song, and
I got there.
you're a really good conversationalist too.
I know. Yeah.
We've been hanging out with the big homie for like the last 2.5
I know,
hours.
it's been
Thank
quite
you very
fast.
much, Apple.
Yes, right. And thank you to Dan as well. For trying to help us.
Poor Dan. Dan was like, "What?" We should have recorded that one. Put that shit up on Patreon. That shit was funny as hell.
We're going to repeat what he said.
Yeah, just put it on repeat.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
All right. Shane out.
Gone.